What's going on everyone, Ollelito back here with another Tuesday tutorial. As you've seen by the title and by the thumbnail, in today's video guys I will be showcasing and we will be doing a passing tutorial. And when I'm talking about passing tutorial, in today's video I will be teaching you guys in what kind of areas of the pitch I'm doing different kind of passes. So it might be with a player that has incisive passes around the edge of the box, I might do triangle, and with a player that has the ping pass in the playstyle, I might even do a R1X for example around the box. So let's jump into today's tutorial because it's Tuesday. Let's go. So before we jump into the gameplay, we have a few different passing playstyles that we need to take into consideration. So for example, in the background, we have Marquisio here. And Marquisio, if you look at playstyles, he manages to have gold in incisive, silver in pinged and in long ball, and also tiki-taka in gold. And these passing playstyles will make a huge difference in terms of what my mind goes through when I'm making passes in around my own box, in build-up, at the halfway line, but also around my opponent's box. So for example, let's say we have the ball around the edge of the box with Marquisio. I might then actually want to find my players with an R1X pass because he manages to have ping pass, which means that the ball will travel at a higher speed and a bit with more accuracy, if that makes sense. But around the halfway line, I might want to use Marquisio's triangle passes because he manages to have incisive pass here. That's basically because the ball is traveling at a high speed, but also way more accurate. And a lot of times when I'm doing a triangle pass with players that have the incisive in either gold or silver, they can actually be able to put the ball in front of the attackers, and then again, we can still keep the momentum with the speed and then try to score from there basically. So starting off with what I usually do when it comes to building up in my own half, starting with that until we reach the halfway line, is basically I try to use a lot of play locks towards the wingers because as I said in previous tutorials and stuff, the player lock passes are so goddamn accurate and that's why we want to use them on the wing as much as we can. So for example here, I have the ball with Theo Hernandez. I have an easy pass to Liao, but in case of actually still just playing a normal X pass here, I'm doing an R1X pass because I see on the minimap that Liao is in so much space. So I can just play an R1X pass to try to keep the momentum a bit higher because R1X passes are obviously traveling at a higher speed than a normal X pass, and then I can get in front here. So for example here, I get to the halfway line, I send Liao, as we talked about in previous videos, we need these wingers to be sent. I play Liao, play him a 1-2 with Henri, and once again, when I see that Liao is in space, that's obviously when I want to do a triangle pass. So once again, I create a 2v1, but it's also important to notice, I know in the back of my head there that Liao manages to have tiki-taka in white. And why is this important? Basically, because a lot of times, a player without tiki-taka wouldn't be able to make this first time pass to Henri. But now because Liao has tiki-taka in white, he manages to do so, finds Henri, and once again, as you see here, there is plenty of space in behind that left-hand side where I managed to find Liao, basically. So once again, showing a clip on how I like to build up using what kind of different passes and different kind of aspects of the game from my own goal kick. So I have the ball with Lucio. I always want to go wide, but it also depends on where my opponent is going. Now you see my opponent is controlling Beckham at the top right there of your screen. So either, if you look at the minimap, I can find my CDM, then play from the CDM to the wing, or I decide to go to my wing back, then out to the winger later on. So for example here, I have the ball with Lucio. I see, okay, he's actually covering off my billing pretty well here. He's hidden behind the controller here at the top right. So I'm finding Theo Hernandez. Once again, I'm finding Theo Hernandez. I play a first time pass here to Liao. And once again, when I am with Liao, here I have space. So here I can decide for myself, okay, what do I want to do? Billing is open. I have plenty of space to still walk with the ball with Liao. And I decide, okay, now I played Liao. Then later on, I play Billing. And once again here, I send Kaká to have a runner in the middle of the pitch. I try to find Henri, then try to find Kaká. Now I didn't play for Kaká, as you've seen here. So if you take a look back, the thing I do, I play Theo Hernandez here, I have plenty of space. Here again, I should probably trigger Liao here so we can take the wing again, because it's basically the wing we want to use. Once again here, now I send Liao, and now I'm basically getting closer to his goal because I have these players sent, which is the most important thing basically. So once again here we have the ball on our own half, and how do we do and what kind of passes are we using to kind of reach that halfway line. Once again then the third clip is going to be super easy pass from Billing to Theo Hernandez. And once again when I play this ball out to Theo Hernandez, I always want to use that R1X pass, but I can also use the triangle pass if your CMs or CDMs, depending on what formation you play, have incisive pass in either silver or gold. So we can actually play kind of a triangle pass in front of Theo Hernandez so we can keep the momentum and take the touch forward. So if we look here, I play, as you see, it went into his feet, which means that we did an R1X pass. So basically, trying to get to the halfway line, I'm using a lot of R1X passes, or in general, a few triangle passes if my players or the CDMs, that I like to call them, manages to have the incisive. But when I get the ball with the defenders, I always play a R1X pass to my fullbacks or into my CMs or CDMs, depending on what formation I play. So once we basically broke down the first kind of part of it, reaching the halfway line, we basically, what do we do from the halfway line, then trying to get into the box. So we have the ball we're building here. It's all about triggering runs, obviously. And here I have Kaká that I can play in space, number 19. I have Leao at the top here. And the thing is, if I play Kaká, then maybe I can play Henry later on. So for example, here we have the ball with Philip Billing. So the thing I can do a triangle pass here to Kaká because the triangle button in this game is absolutely broken. Or I just play him with an R1X pass. So we see what I do here. I don't play Kaká, but I play Leao because I want to take the ball wide, first of all. Then after when we reach the box, then we can do the Ollelito play by finding the winger, CM, then into your striker. So once again, we find Leao here, and here we just take space. We just decide, we send Kaká a few times just to create that space for ourselves. And once again, here I'm trying to play for the Ollelito play. Here again, he's very, very passive, trying to find my center midfielders, then try to go for goals. That was a pretty decent attack. But if we take a look back at that, it's super, super easy. Once we break that halfway line, we try to want to be aggressive. And most likely it's going to be with an R1X pass or a triangle pass, depending on what kind of areas and spaces on the pitch they're opening up. So once again, here again, the difference is here though. I could play Kaká with a triangle, but I don't want to play a triangle pass to Leao because the triangle pass will basically be in front of Leao and then it's going to get too close to the defender. So I'd rather play an R1X into his feet, which I do. As you see here, Leao takes a beautiful touch. Here again, he doesn't know what to do. I call Kaká short, but then I make Kaká run again because he's pointing his own forward, which means that he's running in behind. So now again, when we're here, we just take some space, wait for what's opening up. Here again, though, I could have passed Kaká up there, as you see, but I don't think taking a shot here is bad. But yeah, basically trying to experiment a bit with using that triangle pass, depending, as I said, if your CMs or whatever player it is manages to have incisive. Either, if they don't have that, you try to do R1 passes to basically speed up the tempo, kind of. So as you guys will see here, basically, as I said before, we're using that play lock because it's so goddamn good with an R1X pass. Once again, when I'm here, though, you will find yourself in a few different positions and harder positions in general. From these kind of positions, you want to try to basically either have runners in behind, so your opponent needs to basically cover off these runs, or you try to find some space. And once again here, I'm not really finding any space. And with Ibarbo, I know that I don't really have a lot of passing playstyles. I just want to play it back to my Theo Hernandez, even though I'm not my Theo Hernandez, my Sambrota here, who's going to be right back. But the thing I do, I'm doing an R1X pass because I felt like it works. Now, obviously, this game is just as it is. You guys know that. And we actually find somehow Marquisio here. Once again, I find Marquisio, and from here, I could play a little triangle pass in front of Billing so we can take the ball forward, but instead, I'm actually going to play him feet. And after I play Billing, the thing I do here is that I'm doing a play lock towards Leao and trying to basically speed up the tempo with an R1X pass, finding Leao. And here with Leao, we just try to find some space, waiting for a few passes, finding a very, very good pass in the end there to Rafael Leao, and we managed to score to make it 2-1 in this game. But the all-important thing is, I send Ibarbo, I play Ibarbo with double tap X pass, it's a bit of a lofted pass, it still goes to Kaká, doesn't matter, I don't panic. I play it back to Ibarbo. Then once again here, the most important thing is if you do an R1X pass here, it will not reach Leao or Henry. That will go out of play. But the thing I do, when you're all kind of close to the box here, you still want to be able to do this just normal X passes because they will be way more accurate. We find Leao and we manage to score 2-1 in this game. So, final part then. What are we trying to look for when we are getting around the opponent's box? What kind of passes are we trying to look for? And once again here, we're on the run with Leao here, obviously. Here again, I'm not really trying to get in front of Cafu because I'm playing for something else. So once again here, I'm trying to play obviously for either the two of my attacking players here, which in this case will be Kaká and Henry. The thing is that this opponent also read it, so I just decided to go for a shot instead. But the thing I could have done is either I play Marquisio, as you see on the edge there, and when I get the ball with Marquisio, I have a few options. As I said, I have the triangle pass with Marquisio, but my tip, and actually a bit of a secret tip, is in around the box, where if you get the ball with your CMs here, for example, don't try to use through balls, because I don't think the triangle button around the box is that good this year. So I would rather use either R1X passes just right into your wingers, then try to take a good touch towards the goal, then try to finish, or just a normal X pass and basically, as I said, try to be positive with the touch. Because I mean, the finish from Leao was pretty goddamn nuts, but if we were, as I said, to find Marquisio here on the edge of the box, we can either go for a shot ourselves, or as I said, when you're around the box, try to use the R1X pass, the driven pass, or a normal X pass, or a double tap X pass to try to find your players. So, as you will see from this kind of last clip of this tutorial as well, will actually be us moving in around the box. And once again here, I know that Leao, for example, manages to have the tiki-taka, so I play that first time to Henry. And once again here, a secret pass that I will be showcasing to you guys is actually going to be the triangle pause, as I said, that you guys shouldn't use. But the thing you should use a triangle button, but not by just pressing it once. You should press it twice. This pause from Henri to Kaká is a lofted double tap triangle pause, and they are so accurate in this year's game, especially now when everyone has insane playstyles and insane stats and everything. So as I said, we find Leao, we find Henri, and when I see that Kaká is running in behind, I press L1 towards him first, and if we look at the top right of my screen with my controller, double tap triangle, pressing triangle twice, and when I get as close as I do to the keeper, I basically just tap the shoot button and we manage to score 3-2. So once again, the hidden pause that these players are able to make. I mean, Henri doesn't even have incisive pause, and he manages to make this insane pause here to Kaká with me double tapping triangle. But the last pause before we end this video is this is basically why I'm telling you guys I need a cam and my CMs to basically to be able to have the incisive pause in either gold or silver, because Kaká here, when he gets the ball, he doesn't even have incisive in gold, but you see, I pass Kaká, I'll send Henri in behind once again. So this is basically once again why you guys need to look at playstyles before looking at stats. So yes guys, that's been it for me today. If you like these kind of tutorials, let me know that in the comments, whatever tutorials you guys want to see next. And as I said at the start of the video, don't forget to subscribe, as we're on the road to 100,000 subscribers. That would mean a lot for me, so every sub I appreciate so much. See you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for the support recently. You guys are the greatest.